Recording. All right. Hey, welcome. I'm going to walk you guys through this coloring book that you see here on our charts. Thank you for your time, first and foremost. I'm going to show you guys how I day trade, how we utilize all the tools that you see on the screen here to give us the advantage over the long haul. We see about a 80% probability when we take our trades. We don't ever trade for one specific trade, but at the end of the week, that's really what we focus for. That's really what we focus on. So like we come in here each and every day and we focus on, we try to get 1, 2, or 3 winning trades. And then we walk away, right? And we come back and we guarantee and do the same exact thing again the next day. So what you see here is we're going to see, I have one system here. Let me get my drawing tool real quick. And I'm going to show you how, like I said, we utilize the tools that you see right here. And we're going to start it off like this. In this box, you'll see a 1. In this box, you'll see a 2. In this box, you'll see a 3. And in this box, you'll see a 4. All right. So box number 1, we call this Beast Mode Butter. Second box, we call this Beast Mode Boogie. Third chart, number 3, we call this Beast Mode Spy Crusher. We typically just call it Spy Crusher. And number 4 is, I'm going to put institutional levels. So we come in here and system number 1 and system number 2, which is 2's right in this box. We come in here and each of them are standalone systems. We don't really care about the environment per se, because when we get a signal, we know the probabilities of it over the long haul. If SPY breaks underneath that the floor range to the downside, it is at 97 cents on a share, 96 cents on a share. For those of you still trading, if it breaks this level here, that dash line is, you got about an 88% probability to hit target 1 and about a 75 to hit the second target. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on it. Back to system number 1.
Brandon, what's our target 1?
First target is 437. Second target is 436.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. So after this session, you should have a basic understanding of what we do each and every day, right? So system number 1, you got a set of 3 rules. Number 1, you have, I'm going to put mom shift, which is momentum shifts, right? Watch them run SPY all the way back up. Crazy. Rule number 1 is momentum shift. Rule number 2 is the arrows, right? And rule number 3 is the line. So what does all this mean? Rule number 1 and rule number 2 must happen. The only thing that you can what I want to say, skip is rule number 3. So rule number 1 is this box right here. It's called the momentum shifts. It's very easy. When you get up arrows right here, you get momentum shifts to the upside. When you get the arrows pushing down, it's momentum shifts to the downside. If these arrows are pointing up, what does that mean to you? To me, that means that price should push up, right? Nothing is 100%, and we always preach risk management. So if there's anything that you should get out of this call, any gem that you should get, please remember that any trade that you take, whether it's crypto, stocks, options, shares, you must use proper risk management in sync to your account size. Do not focus on somebody else's winnings or their dollar amounts, because everybody is at a different spot in their trading journey, right? So number 1, this star, number 1 has to happen. You get a momentum shift to the upside. You then come to rule number 2, which is the arrows. You see you have a red arrow here and you have a blue arrow there, right? Those is rule number 2. Rule number 3 is you have a red line right here and you got a blue line here. Red means blood. Typically, price will push down. When the line turns blue, typically you'll start getting some pushes to the upside, right? So how do we throw all this together, right? Great question. You're going to wait for a momentum shift to turn to the downside. We then take our first turbo arrow to the downside, which is these light blue ones, or our first red arrow, right? So our first red arrow is actually hidden in this turbo arrow. You see down here how this momentum shift printed to the downside? You see these lines on the charts. I'm going to have to clear it real quick. Every time that a signal prints, you'll see 3 lines. You'll see that price comes down, and when this candle closes, you come up here to the time. At 58 seconds, once these arrows print, they can't disappear. They're stuck there forever. But sometimes you'll see an arrow populate and then disappear because the candle never fully closed. So you really got to wait for the candle to close. So you got to understand what you're looking for ahead of the time, right? So in this example, we get the momentum shift to the downside, rule number 1, check, and then we wait for rule number 2, which is our red arrow. Where do we get a red arrow at? See where my cursor's at? We get a red arrow right there, which this candle's red and closed right here. So the second you come up here to the timestamp, we'll simulate this. We'll do something like this. We're waiting for this red arrow to print. Pretend this candle's forming. 58 seconds. I'll say, I'm taking a trade on SPY puts. I'm going to put a line right here. Any trade that you must take or any trade that you take, you must have a plan. I'll put a stop up here, and I measure the move from my stop loss to my entry. I then come down to my take profit, which would be right here. If price bounces and closes above this stop out, you must walk away from that trade. If you don't, you're necessarily not following. You're not following the rules, and you're going to take, from a probability standpoint, if this structure is broken, we're probably pushing up at that point, right? So we don't know what's going to happen because we don't know if this specific trade is going to be one of the 80% winners or one of the 20% losers. But we take this trade with confidence. We're going to trade for 1 minute. 2 minutes go by, still down. 3 minutes, we're still down. 4 minutes, we're still down. 5 minutes, we're in profit. 6 minutes, we're in this trade. Did we hit our take profit? Put a 1 in the box if we hit our take profit. Just so I know you guys are all paying attention. Put a 1 in the box if we hit our take profit. Put a 2 in the box if we took a loss on this trade. We would have taken puts on this trade because we're pushing down. All right. We got a lot of 1s. You guys aced your first test. There you go. So you see how easy this system is? You wait for a momentum shift, a color of the arrow, and when the line's in sync, you have a super high probability, right? You could be like, well, maybe Brandon's just showing us this because today it played out and they got 2 winners. We actually took a loss on it today, believe it or not. So I'm going to erase all this stuff and I'm going to show you a couple examples, and then we're going to move on to the next system. So coming into the market at this time, our momentum shift was bullish, right? When that blue arrow printed, that momentum shift was not quite there yet. So we actually took calls here, and we had a stop out right here, and we had a take profit right here, right? Please mute yourself. Roderick, I muted you. So we were in calls right here because that was not printed. Well, guess what happened? Once this candle came down back to the low, now all those arrows decided to print. So we got a put signal. Our line is red. We got a momentum shift to the downside, and we got that red arrow. So we actually took a put trade right here. We put a stop out right here, and on this put trade, we took our profit is about right here. So in this trade, we're actually in a call and a put. Well, the next candle comes by, we actually cut out of our calls because our put went in profit so fast, and then our puts, we wrote it down, and look what happened. We're in a risk-free trade at this point, and we actually flushed down, and our losing trade on the call was smaller than the winning trade on the put side. So you had a 50% win rate, and you were still net profitable. This is the worst-case scenario that could happen. This typically doesn't happen, but this can happen maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. So there's a time where you may be in a call and a put at the same time, and essentially you're hedged, right? So then we go over, and we're done in this trend until we get another signal. So we'd be looking for a momentum shift to the upside. Because remember, we get a momentum shift to the downside. We take our first red arrow in a downtrend, and we take our first blue arrow in an uptrend. So then we come over here, and we get this momentum shift to the upside right here. We expected this bottom to be put in place, right? Look what happens. We never got a blue arrow. Then we get a momentum shift back to the downside, and we finally get our blue arrow. Well, guess what? We don't take a blue arrow when the momentum shifts to the downside. We actually take our put right here. We take puts. Here's our stop out. Here's our stop out. Here's our 1-to-1. Guess what happened? When it hits that 1-to-1, you put a trail stop in and you get stopped out down there. So you actually make more than your 1-to-1. So today was not perfect, but you're net profitable. I trade to be net profitable. Today on this system, you had a 66% win rate, 2 winners, 1 loser, just on number 1, Beast Mode Butter, and you had another green day in the books, right? We'll go back and look at another day. Look how it did yesterday. We have no idea what's going to happen, right? This is what we did yesterday. We'll simulate it. We have a momentum shift to the downside. This is all pre-market. If you traded futures, you would have taken your short right here, and look what happened. Your stop out was here. Your 1-to-1 was here. You would have grabbed about 2 ES points, was $100 in profit on that move. So you could trade ES with this same system, anything with the chart. Anything with the chart, right? So let's simulate this. We can't trade stock options in this gray box because that's pre-market. So our momentum shift right now is what? Coming into the market, I had puts loaded up. Why? Because my momentum shift is trending down. The last arrow we got was right here, which is pushing down. My line is red, so I'm expecting to take puts, right? But we let price tell us what to do. 1 minute comes in, we have a red arrow. Nope. No red arrow. No red arrow. Now, what do you see? You see we got a momentum shift to the upside, right? So I'm not taking a red arrow now. I'm taking my first blue arrow. We get that red arrow. We're still not in a trade. We're sitting at our computer because we're all expert traders. It is now 9:45, and we are still not in a trade. So then guess what happens? Line's blue. We're still waiting for our first blue arrow, and we'll see what happens. What do you see happen right here? Is this our first blue arrow in an uptrend? Put a Y if you agree that that would be our call trade. Put an N in the box if you do not agree with that. We'll see. This is your second test. All right, we got a lot of 1s and we got a lot of Ys. A couple Ys and a couple 1s. There we go. All right, you just passed your second test. So, believe it or not, we got this first call signal right here. So we come up here to the timestamp. When that says 58 seconds, you then throw a market order in on SPY because the spread is so tight. I don't care about being drawn down 1 cent on the option side. I would not throw a market order in on a Monday or Tuesday trading booking where the spread is $700 or $800, right? But on SPY, I'll throw a market order in. Great. So look what happens. We take a call here. People will be like, I wanted to take calls down here. Well, from a probability standpoint, I was expecting to short this. Our environment was locked in bearish, and the market reversed on everybody, and so many people lost money, but we weren't in a trade yet because we were waiting for our plan. So anytime that we take a trade, you must have a plan. Guess what happens? Our entry is here. Here's our stop out. Without even knowing what's going to happen, I measure my entry to my stop out, and that's how I create my 1-to-1. So now I put lines here on the chart for reference because if price closes below this level, I'm walking away with a loss. If price comes close to this level to the upside, I'm setting a 5 or 8 or 10 cent trail stop. I typically do 5, but if I feel that there's a lot of volatility, I may go a little bit looser. So let's simulate it. We're in a trade for 1 minute. We're in a little bit of profits. We just gave all of our profits back. We're losing now. Now we're break even. Now we're in profits again. Now we're break even. Now we're in profits. Now we're really in profits. Now we're in profits. What just happened right here? Did we win that trade or did we lose that trade? We won that trade. We followed our plan. We're in a risk-free trade at this point in a trail stop. Look what happens. We keep pushing up. We're still in this trade. Oh, we just get stopped out. And then, unfortunately, we continue to rip up, right? So we got a nice winner yesterday. So then we clear the drawing set, right? This was Thursday, yesterday, 10-7. Hold on 1 second, Eric. So then we took the first blue arrow in an uptrend. Now we're done in this trend. We're waiting for a momentum shift to turn to the downside. And we will take our first red arrow if we get one. Well, what do you see happens right here? Is that our first red arrow? We would actually take puts right here. We'd put a stop out about right here. That's a little tight. And look what happens. Did price fall down in your favor from this projected market structure? Yup. Now you got 2 winners on the day. Best case scenario, you're going to win 100% of your trades. Worst case scenario, you might win 50 or 60 or 70% of your trades with a potential to be net profitable. What's up, Eric?
I'm trying to, I want to make sure that I'm following you correctly on your entry, because when you come down to the indicator at the bottom with the little red line, with the red arrows right here, right? So are you your entry? Okay, so we got green arrows right up above this, okay? And I see a little blue arrow, and then I see a lighter blue. So what would be your entry on a call? Are you entering on this darker blue or this lighter blue for your entry when the market switches around?
I'm going to share something with you. If our momentum shift is to the downside and we're projected to go down in price, are you interested in taking calls or puts?
Actually puts.
So why let me ask you this. I'd flip this question back around to you, and I would say, why would you take calls if from a probability standpoint we're going to fall?
Definitely right. I wanted to make sure I was
all right. So now look here. Remember, we got a momentum shift to the downside right here, so we're only looking to take puts based off this system. As of right here, we'd expect price to fall. Our first entry, you could have taken a turbo arrow down and you could have got puts right here. Did price fall or did price not?
Got it.
All right. Second entry would be our red arrow right here. You would have entered your puts right there. Did price fall or did price not?
Price fell.
That's what I'm saying, right? So I don't know what you want to do with your money, but me, I'm not taking calls when probability says we're going to fall. You follow what I'm saying? And then look what happens.
I got you.
Remember, probability right here said we're going to fall. Why would you want to get stuck in calls in this mess right here? See what happens? That's why I trade probabilities, my man. Do you see that?
I see it.
So my theory is this, right? I can't even make this any bigger. So my theory is this right here. I want to take the first blue arrow in an uptrend and get a winner, or the turbo arrows in an uptrend. And then when we go in a downtrend, I want to take that first red arrow in a downtrend, and I'll take this turbo arrow down. I'll take this turbo arrow down. I'll take this turbo arrow down. I will take this turbo arrow down. Where would you have lost if you were to take puts in a downtrend? You wouldn't have. See the power?
I see. Now that you have your screen where you have it, I'm looking at this. I see you got this red one circle and circle this green one, the green one on the left. And then, okay, I see the turbo arrow here. Okay, I got it, brother. I'm following you. I just want to make sure that I'm following.
Right. So that right there is system number one. That's Beast Mode Butter. We have an 80% probability to win on a trade. But at the end, or I'm sorry, yeah, we have an 80% probability to win each trade, but we do lose on this system. So you must use proper risk management still. There is no system out here that will give you a 100% win rate. You got, all right? So now we're going to go to system number two, all right? And let me zoom out here. Should probably put this on a different setup. I'm going to actually remove this and make it just a little bit more clear, because we got the levels over here on SPY. All right, so now system number two here. We'll zoom out. My theory on this is this right here. So system number one is Beast Mode Butter. We take the first red arrow in a downtrend, which was right here. We take the first blue arrow in an uptrend, which didn't happen. The first red arrow in a downtrend, which was right here. See the powers of that right there, Eric? That's why we stay, from a probability standpoint, we stay in sync of the trend. You will win over time. You may lose today or maybe Monday or Tuesday, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you have a probability to be on the winning side. And that's the way that I like to trade, on the day trading side. All right? System number two, we're going to come over here, Beast Mode Boogie. You have two sets of rules, right? You have a smart price line and you have an orange line. I'm going to put orange, we call it environment line. So without even caring what overall sentiment is doing, right? I created these systems so that I didn't have to tell myself too many things that will keep me on the correct side of expansion in price more times than not. So my smart price line, you'll see when price gets underneath this line, it turns red. When price gets above it, it turns green, right? The orange environment line, you have this orange environment line right here. gets above. This is my theory on this. And this is how I trade it. When, because market structure goes from under to overvalued. It moves in waves. So I tell people like this right here. If we're going like this, that's an uptrend. We're in an uptrend until what? Until we're not. If structure goes like this, we are in a downtrend. We're channeling down. We're in a downtrend until we're not. There's three phases of the market. You're either in an uptrend, you're either in a downtrend, or you're either range trading, accumulation, or distribution, same term. We just, depending on where structure's at and what it's doing, that would be the correct term, right? So what happens is, hold on a second. I'm muting all you guys. Sorry. So what happens is that we are in an uptrend, right? Like right here, and I'd have a stop here, a stop here, a stop here. Once this got broken, I would say we're back in a downtrend, right? Until this gets broke, this gets broke, this gets broke, then it breaks, and then you're going to trade sideways, right? And then box it in. We don't know if we're going to break down if this is a bear flag because you get a large move down, you trade sideways. This thing may push back down again, and then once this gets taken out, now we're going to start trending back to the upside. So I'd rather wait for us to miss the high or the low and take a piece of this move down instead of trying to predict this is the high of the day, I'm going to short it. Because guess what? If you predict this is the high, you lose. You say this is the high, you lose. You say this is the high, you lose. Guess what? You just won one trade out of 4 trades. I don't like that, right? I like to win a little bit more. That's just me. So that's how I see structure in a simple form, right? And that's how I kind of base all of our systems around that. So how do we tie that structure in with Beast Mode Boogie, right? So when our orange line crosses our smart price line, I see this more times than not. Once that gets breaking out, now our orange line crosses, we're going to start trending to the upside. If we're trending to the upside, why are you trying to take puts? I'm not. I'm trying to go long, right? So I use this orange line for entry purposes. So if we're underneath and we're trending down, I wait for price to come down, come up, get underneath it. I take puts right here. Here's my stop, and I get a winner. I wait for price to get back above it, come back down. I take puts here. Here's my stop out. Then I get a winner. Now we break structure. We never get underneath this. Price gets underneath the orange line. It comes back up, right? I take calls here. Here's my stop. I get a winner. Price then comes underneath it, gets above it. I take calls here. Here's my stop out. I get another winner, right? Put a 1 in the chat box if that makes sense and you're still following me. So I'm going to erase all this, and I'm going to show you a couple examples of what we would have done. Yep, throw a 1 in the chat box if that makes sense, just so I make sure you guys are following me still and you're not sleeping on me. All right, so now let's go back and look at some real live trading and how this played out. All right, you come in here yesterday. Let me ask you something. When price gets above the smart price line and orange line, we are bullish. And when price gets below it, so like right here, you can take puts, and your stop out is if price closes back above the orange line. But where's our orange line at in conjunction to our smart price line, right? So now yesterday we come in here, and we were expecting to get a reset, right? We'll walk through this real slow. Our orange line now pushed to the downside. We want price to get above the orange line and then get back below it. But now our orange line crossed, so we take calls right here. Here's our stop out, and here's our 1-to-1. Well, what happens right here? We have no idea what's going to happen, right? Because we're simulate trading. This is what we did yesterday, all live before it happened. We took calls. 1 minute, 2 minutes, we hit our target. You go in a risk-free trade, guess what? You just got a winning trade. You're 1-0 on the day. Now you wait for price to get back underneath this orange line, get back above it, and we'll see what happens. We still have no trade. We have no trade. Fast forward. Where's price at right now? Is price underneath the orange line or above it? It's underneath it. So what we're looking for price to get back above this orange line. Look what happens. We get back above it right here. We take calls. We put a stop out right here. We should revisit this structure up to the top side. But at a 1-to-1 right here, I'll be risk-free. Our target is really a 2-to-1. Let's see what happens. We're in profits. We're risk-free. Pushed up. Look where we're at. Now you're really, really happy. If you bet $100 here and you're only going to lose $10, but now your $100 is worth $20 up here, you have a risk reward of 2-to-1, and you're in a risk-free trade. Look what happens. We're still in it. Now we just got stopped out. Then the bugger takes off. Now we wait for the same exact setup again, right? We get underneath it right here. We get back above it. We take calls here. Here's our stop out. We should retest this high, but at the 1-to-1 right there, you could be risk-free, right? Look what happens. We just hit the 1-to-1. Another winner. You just got 3 winners in the first hour of trading. That's Beast Mode Boogie right there. That is why Beast Mode Boogie is so powerful, and that's how we trade it. We come into the market each day. We don't care what news is out, because if Beast Mode Boogie, this happens right here. If Beast Mode Boogie and the orange line crosses to the downside, we get above it, we get underneath it, we short it here, there's a winner. We get above it, we get underneath it, we short it here, there's another winner. Look what happens. 2 winners in this trend. You guys see the power of Beast Mode Boogie. Look what happens. We get underneath this, and what I see this. Remember those waves we were talking about? We're in an uptrend. We're still holding these waves. Oh, guess what got broken? This got broken. You come up, you come down, you come up, you come down, you come up, you come down. Now we're in a downtrend. Your stop out's here, or your structure point here, your structure's here, your structure's here. That helps me stay on the correct side of expansion a lot more times than not, and that is how I'm profitable each and every Friday, and I pay myself, right? So now we'll come into today and see how today works. And sometimes you're going to get into a situation where the market's stuck in a box right now. Nothing that we could do, right? So you would have taken some calls here. Here would be your stop out. You got stopped out right there. What? Yeah. Then you would have taken some puts. We were already in puts right here, but based off this system, you would have taken your puts here, and if price would get back above right there, you would have got stopped out. Price comes back up, you take calls, you only get a little bit of expansion. Price then comes back down, you get a nice little winner. Price gets back above it, you take calls, you got a nice winner. Price gets back underneath it, you take puts, and you get a little pop down. These moves don't look like much, but that right there is about a 25-cent drop, all but 20 cents per se. Then we get above it, and if you put your stop here and your stop there, remember today's a horrible trading day, but we're all green still. You could have stopped out if we closed underneath this, and you take your put here. Here's your stop out. Look what happens. Cycles back down. And then our orange line's still there. You take another put right there. You put a stop, previous structure. Guess what? You're back down to your 1-to-1. So that is Beast Mode Boogie. And today's a horrible day. And you still could have extracted winners today and been net profitable. Because remember, we're looking for 2 to 3 winning trades. And then we walk away. Does that make sense? That leaves us to our third system down here. SPY crushers, right? So system number 1 is Beast Mode Butter. System number 2 is Beast Mode Boogie. System number 3 is SPY Crusher. Beast Mode Butter and Boogie are on 1-minute candles. SPY Crusher's on a 15-minute candle. So now, what we do down here is you see these arrows that print, right? Moral of the story: when you get an up arrow, when a green candle, we're trending up. When you get a down arrow and a red candle, we're trending down. When you get a green candle with a when you get a green candle with an orange arrow, we're trending up. This right here, let me zoom in. Just to not confuse you, you have 2 rules. You need an orange arrow plus you need a color of the candle. So right here, you see how we got a down arrow and a green candle? We are not confirmed short yet until we have a down arrow plus the red candle. These are Heiken Nashi candles. So at this point, we're in a downtrend, right? Then we're in a downtrend until what? Till we're not. Here, we're in an uptrend. We get expansion up, and then look at this. Look at this day right here, and this is why I trade with SPY Crusher. So we're in an uptrend. We have a bias to take calls over puts because we're in an uptrend. Then we get into a put signal. Guess what happens? Did we roll over towards the end of the day? Absolutely. Now you come into today. You see how SPY Crusher put us in a downtrend? We have a bias to be short today. So if you look at all these trades on Beast Mode Boogie, we're not looking to take calls right here because SPY Crusher's in a downtrend. We're looking to take puts. Do we get a larger move down to the put side? Yep. I'm not taking calls here. I'm taking puts right here. Look what happens. We push down. I'm not taking calls here. I'm taking puts right here, and we get a push down. I'm not taking calls here. I'm taking puts here. We get a push down. So you had 4 opportunities to take puts today. So we use SPY Crusher as an additional filter to give us a higher probability, if that makes sense. So you come over here to Beast Mode Butter. You look at all the put trades. If you're taking a put trade here, did you get a nice winner? Heck yeah, you did. That's an over $500 winner in 2 minutes if you trade 10 contracts. Then you get another put trade right there. There's another $500 winner in 4 or 5 minutes. You could have a $1,000 winner today just trading 10 contracts on SPY with 2 different trades. And that's the power of SPY Crusher, right? That's how we utilize SPY Crusher in the room as a bias, and it works on any single symbol. It works on any single symbol, and it gives us a bias to stay on the correct side of expansion. That's how we use SPY Crusher. I'm going to erase that. Now we're going to come in here to our institutional levels. I go back 60 days, and I put levels here, right? This is a 30-minute bar. I put levels here. Anywhere, right? We won't go too much in depth about this, but anywhere that price has a large move up and then sells off, I have a level right here. Price comes all the way down here, makes a large move up, I put a level here. So my theory is this. We watch the levels over here to see where price is potentially going. So this is how we use this, right? Let me auto zoom back out. I'll show you a couple examples. So when we're day trading and we get a signal, if price hits this level and rejects and then fails at this level, guess where it's going? It's going down to the next level. If it fails this level, it's going down to the next level. All these lines have been on my chart for the last 2 or 3 months because we've been stuck in this recent box. So as we're going up, making all-time highs, I was making new levels. But as you know, SPY retraced, and we're underneath the alligator now. And that's why I haven't added no more levels, because I've already had previous data points of where these levels are. Then price bounces. It breaks above this level, goes to the next 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 level. Look here. Wicks right at this level, comes back down. See the power of the levels? So this is how we utilize that, right? You come into today. You see price opened up here. Once we started trending down, SPY Crusher was in the downtrend. We called this out this morning that there's a potential SPY pushes down to 438.67. And then if it breaks this level, we're going down here to this level, 437.88. What's the low on SPY today? 437.97. We're 7 or 8 cents away from that. At these levels, you usually get huge bounces. Look at these huge bounces, right? So we have 2 levels we're playing with today. If we stay above 438.69, there's a potential we may come up to 440.23, which is way up here. 440.23, which will be the pre-market high. Call me crazy and come back in 2 or 3 or 4 hours. As long as we hold this level right here, 438.72, we should push up and hit that level. And that right there is how we have such a high probability day trading. You guys see a lot of us posting winners each and every day, and we hashtag Trading Made Easy. That is why we say Trading Made Easy, because we use system 1, 2, 3, and 4 in sync with each other, right, on a day trading aspect, and it gives us a very high probability. But if you're going to take anything away from this call, I'm not telling you that you need to trade like me. I'm telling you that any trade that you take, you must use proper risk management, right? So I'm going to erase this. This is all on the day trading side. So now you see what this little blue box is. This is the last little piece on our day trading side. We call this about 5 or 6 years ago. I paid someone for a system, and I was following them and stuff. But in the end, I wasn't profitable because I did not use proper risk management. And they shared so many gems with me that I have so many gems that I can't even share them all in one call. So one of these calls are this right here. I'm going to pull up I'm going to see if I can pull up like a naked chart. So it's not really as crazy. Let me pull up a chart real quick, and I'll show you this. Let me see if I can. And this is for people that we hold on one second. I'm going to do it right now. Let me clear everything. All right. So right here's a naked chart. So I was taught this right here. We're going to go to SPY because I'm a SPY madman. SPY is my personal ATM. So we're on a 5-day, 15-minute chart, right? I'm going to slide this down in case anybody is still day trading. SPY Crusher is potentially going in an uptrend on SPY, but it doesn't print for another 10 or 12 minutes. So this is what I was taught. The first 15 minutes of the trading day, you let go, right? And we can do this on any symbol that we want. We'll just keep UPS up, I guess. So this is a little gem I'm going to share with you. So in the first 15 minutes of the day, you put a floor, the high floor and the low floor. So people with large accounts, this is how they trade. They let the first 15 minutes go. People are fighting. You have a high and you have a low. Whatever level the floor breaks, right? I'm going to put a different color in. I'll take the measurement of the high and the low of the first 15-minute candle and come up here and have a level here and come down here and have a level here. So the distance between this is now, whatever way it breaks, you'd have a target down there, right? So what you do is you put those lines on the chart and let me change the color again. And then you also put a line at the halfway point. I'm going to put dotted lines. So the power with this floor trading strategy is you have an 88% win rate if price breaks the top of this floor to hit the halfway point, and you have about a 75% win rate for it to hit the one-to-one, right? So what happens is this example, when UPS, it's not SPY, it's UPS, we break the floor to the downside. When price falls down and hits the halfway point, you then, so when it breaks, this is your stop out, the top of the floor. If you take a breakout to the upside, your stop out is the bottom of the floor. Once it hits the halfway point, your stop isn't here. You bring it down to right here. You put a trail stop in on 75% of your trades, and then you let the other 25% ride down here to the one-to-one, because you have a 75% win rate to get there over the long haul, and then you go in a risk-free trade. If price hits the halfway point and reverses, the last 25% of your trade, you take a 4 or 5 cent winning on the cent side, so I don't ever go break even. So I'm guaranteed to win no matter what. Throw a 1 in the box if you're following me right now. Put a 1 in the box if you're following me. I'm going to show you some more examples, right? All right, so I got a lot of 1s. There we go. So with this strategy right here, look here, the next day, 15-minute candle high prints, 15-minute candle low. The 15-minute candle prints, we got the bottom floor or the top floor. Did we break the low or the high on UPS, where the star's at? Throw it in the chat box if we broke the high or the low. Either put high or put low. All right, Fatty says low, Robert, Jess, they say low. Delana, low. Renisha Brooks says low. Awesome stuff. So guess what? Where's our targets at, right? So we measure the move of the 15-minute high and low, right? Right here, we come down here. Here would be our one-to-one. Here would be our half-to-one. At the halfway point, you go risk-free. You should not take a loss on this trade. You move your stop from up here. You come down and push. Look what happens. You won on this day. You're 1-0. You won on this day. You're 1-0. Right here, do we break to the upside or downside? We broke to the upside. You're 1-0. But you got to keep in mind, here we broke to the downside. Our 1-to-1 was here. Here's our halfway point. We come all the way down pretty much to our halfway point. So in this trade, you'd still win, but you'd take a break even on the last part of your contracts. Here, look what happens. We break to the upside, did not hit the halfway point. We broke to the downside. and then we hit our 1-to-1 at the end of the day. So on this day, we're 1-1. Today, we broke to the upside. We're at the halfway point. You're guaranteed a winning trade. So trading SPY or UPS, 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-1, 6-1, right? What's 6-1 right here? 6 divided by 7. Are you happy with an 85% win rate? I am. You see how easy that is? But most importantly, we all do this together as a team every single day in the markets live. We don't ever know what's going to happen. We just trade probabilities. So now let's throw SPY in here because we trade SPY. And let's go back even a greater amount of time. Let's go back 10 days, right? Let's see what happens. Look here on SPY. I'll go faster. We broke to the upside. You got a winning trade. You're 1-0. This day, you broke to the upside. You're 2-0. This day, you break to the downside. You're 3-0. This day, you break to the downside. You get stopped out. You're 3-1. You go to the upside. You are now you're 4-1. You come to the next day. We break to the downside. You're 5-1. Next day, break to the downside. 6-1. Then we break to the upside. 7-1. Next day, break to the downside. 8-1. Next day, upside. 9-1. Next day, we break to the downside. 10-1. Then we break to the upside. 11-1. Then we break to the upside. 12-1. And then today, we didn't break at all. So let me ask you this. Over the last 10 days, if you were 12 divided by 13, are you happy with a 92% win rate? I am. My account's loving it. And so is everybody else's. But we do this together as a team. A team that wins together will always stay together. All right? So that's what you see right here. We have an indicator, a custom indicator that auto plots the high and the low. So as you see, SPY stuck in this box. We don't know what's going to happen, right? But if you trade this for 7 days, 10 days, 20 days, and use proper risk management, there's no way that you can't be profitable with each and every one of us. So allow us to help you grow your account. That's all the tools that we use in sync with each other on the day trading side. The last thing I want to show you is how we swing trade with confidence, right? Hold on 1 second. Let me actually check my Verizon puts. I didn't even realize we're falling today on Verizon. So we should be up pretty good money. Hold on 1 second. Just to make sure I don't want to put a trail in yet. You know what I'm saying? We like to be consistently profitable. All right. I'm in profits. Today was an amazing day. $1,100 today. Crazy. All right. So let's do this. Someone give me a symbol in the chat box, and I'm going to show you how we would swing trade it. Just so you know, I don't plan it out. Someone throw a random symbol in the chat box. All right. Fadi says J&J. All right. So I'm going to make this. I'm going to make this a little bit larger. I'm going to make this a little bit larger. So the power with how this system is, we use the alligator and we use the beast mode breakout down here, right? I'm sorry, Renisha. Fatty put his in first. So there's 2 rules. If price is underneath the alligator, we take our first red box for a put. If price is above the alligator right here, we're taking our first green box. Price gets below it, we're taking our first red box. Price gets above it, we're taking our first green box. Real simple, right? Real simple. So let's walk through and see how we would have won over the long haul. All right, so we'll zoom in here. Hold on 1 second. Let me get rid of all these lines I have. I like to go clean on them. And we'll zoom in right like this. All right, so price is underneath the alligator right here. We take puts. Someone who wants to keep Jess, can you count for me? Who wants to count for me today?
Sorry, feeding the baby right now.
Oh, all right, no worries. Who wants to count and keep track of the record? Is West in here? All right. Awesome. So right here, we take puts. Price is underneath the alligator. We failed to close back above it. We stay in puts. 1, 2 days, we get out. We're 1-0. We get a reset. We take puts again right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 days, we're lower. We're 2-0. Then we get a reset. We get above the alligator. We take calls. 3-0. We then get below the alligator, and we got a little bit of movement, I guess. What's this low? 142.38, and we closed at 143.87. So that's a winner. So now we're 4-0. We take calls right here. We're back above the alligator. We're 5-0. We wait for a reset. We take calls here. 6-0. We wait for a reset. We take calls right here. 7-0. We get a reset. We take calls here. 8-0. We get a reset. We take calls right here. 9-0. We get a reset. We're underneath the alligator. We don't get anything. We take puts right here. Oh, guess what happens? We got our first loser. So we're 9-0. We're 9-1. Then we take calls. We never close underneath that. We stayed above it. 9-0. I'm sorry, 9-1. Now we're 10-1. We get a reset right here. We take calls right here. 10-1. We're 11-1. We get a reset. We're underneath the alligator right here. Purple bar closed up. We are 10-1. We gap down. We're 11-1. We get above the alligator right here. We're 12-1. We get a reset. We take calls here. Plays out in a couple days. 12-1. We're 13-1. We get a reset. We take another stab at calls here. We're 14-1. We get a reset. We get underneath the alligator right here. And we're 14-1. Now we're 15-1. Reset. Puts. 15-1. 16-1. Reset. Puts. We rock this thing out. And we take a loss on it. So we're 15-2. We take calls. Now we're 16-2. Then we get a reset. We take calls here. 17-2. We get a reset. We take calls here. 18-2. We get a reset. We take calls right here. We're 18-2. 18-2. That only gave us about a 30-cent move, so that's really not good. We're going to count that as a loss. We reverse right here. 18-3. We take puts. 19-3. We get a reset. We take puts again here. We're 20-3. So over the last year, just trading Johnson & Johnson, 20 divided by 23 because we were 20-3. You have an 86, almost 87% probability. Would you be happy with an 87% probability for the rest of your life trading Starbucks? Or I'm sorry, Johnson & Johnson. You see that? Now you come into something like this. SPY. And this is why you see we're very consistent on the swing trade side, right? You trade SPY, you take puts here, you're 1-0. We get above it, we're 2-0. We get calls here, we're 3-0. We get calls, yeah, we already did that one. We get calls right here. Now we're 4-0. We get calls right there. We're 5-0. We get calls right here. We're 6-0. We get calls here. We're 7-0. We get calls right here. We're 8-0. We get calls right here. 1, 2, 3, 9-0. We get calls here. 10-0. We get calls here. And let's see, did that ever break? Nope. 10-0. We would sell out for a loss there. We're 10-1. We take puts. 11-1. We get back above the gator. We're 12-1. We get a reset. We take calls here. 12-1. We are 13-1 at 326. So where's 326? 326 is right here. We're 13-1. We get a reset. We take calls right here, and price pushes on up. So you can see right here we take calls. We're 13-1. We're 14-1. We get another stab of calls right here. 14-1, 15-1. We get calls here. 15-1, 16-1. Reset. We get calls here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 17-1. You get calls here. 18-1. You get calls here. 19-1. You get calls here. 20-1. You get calls here. 21-1. You get calls here. 22-1. Calls here. 23-1. You get calls right here. 24-1. You get calls right here. 24 and 1, you get stopped out right there. 24 and 2, you take puts. 25 and 2, you get a reset. You take puts again right there. 25 and 2, 26 and 2, you get a reset. You take puts right here. And it doesn't look like much, but that's about $1 move down. So we were 26 and 2, I believe 27 and 2 now. So 27 divided by 29. Are you happy with a 93% win rate, just swing trading SPY with confidence? Throw a 1 in the box if you'd be happy. Put a 2 in the box if you'd be upset. Put a 1 in the box if you'd be happy. Put a 2 in the box if you'd be upset. All right, we got a lot of 1s. You're right. That's how we swing trade with high probability, right? There's no secret to it. Remember, we trade profitability, we trade probability, and in the end, probability leads to our profitability. So with that being said, that is the tools that we use, and that is how we have such a high success rate. So a lot of the trades you see me post out in the Discord, that's why we win a heck of a lot of them compared to how much we lose. And that's why a lot of people's growing their accounts right alongside with us. So if there's anything that you took from this call, you already know I'm going to say, please remember to use proper risk management. And trading has made that easy. The last thing I want to sum it up with, someone just private messaged me about the Amazon hack. All right. So great question. Every Friday, we have about a 98% probability. This year, we have not lost yet. On Friday mornings, whatever the open price is, we put a line there, right? We go down 10 points. I put a line at 33.05 this morning, right? So 98% probability for this thing to fall 8 to 10 points, which will put us in this little box right here. It does not matter if the candle opens, because the second this candle opens, 5 seconds in, we throw a market order in, and we go about 2 to 3 strikes out of the money, because the contracts at that range are anywhere from $400 to $800 for just one contract, which makes it a lotto. I am okay losing 100% of that trade. Have not lost that trade at all this year. Last year, we lost it 2 times. So would you be mad if you won 50 Fridays and lost 2 Fridays? Who cares if you take in 2 max losses on Fridays, because every other week you're making anywhere from 25 to 100% ROI on these lotto trades. So those 200% max losses, right, if you held it for that, only robbed you from at most 8 of those wins. So if you had 52 trading weeks and you lost 2 trades for the year, keep in mind, and they're 100% losses, and say you only made 25% ROI on the rest of them. Well, you're going to rob yourself off of 8 trades, because those two losers take away 8 winners. So if you risk the same amount every single Friday, we'll just say $500 per se. Every single Friday, right? 25% of that is $125. So if you're 50 and 2 of those losers take away 8 winners, your net profit would be 42 winning trades for the year. So if you take 42 times $125, look what you just made at the end of the year trading 1 day per week. And that's on the low end, because most of the time we're seeing 50 to 75% ROI on this 10-point drop. So if you really get closer to expectations, you're going to make about $300 on just risking $500 every Friday, and you're walking away with at least this much for the year, taking 1 trade in about 10-15 minutes per year. Now, keep in mind, this number skewed because 1 week I made $1,800 on 1 contract. I risked $700 and I made $1,800 profit. So there is a couple of the Fridays where you'll make 100, 200, 300, 400% ROI. But if you're shooting for a consistent 50 to 75% every Friday, you'll knock it out of the ballpark. You follow me? So then you got people that trade 3 contracts. Well, if you're risking $800 and you're making $500 every single Friday, and say there's 40 Fridays so far this year, 40 times 500, look how much you're up right now, $20,000. Well, guess what your subscription is in DCG? It's paid for, and your account is sitting in profits. So that's how I trade Amazon every Friday. I use the profits that I make Monday through Thursday to take a lotto trade on Fridays on Amazon. The second that bad boy opens up, I throw a market order in because I know the spreads are only $30, $40 spread difference. And I know that I'm expecting to get 10-point drop. So if price opens up today at 33.16, I would say the 3,300 puts would have been acceptable. So how much could you have made today on the 3,300 puts? Let's see, right? Because I like to see things with my own eyes. 3,300 puts. If we copy this, we'll pull a spark chart up. This is the movement of what Amazon did on the contract side. So if you entered this call trade, look, right at the open, these contracts were worth $600. They shot up here. This is what I'm getting at. See how easy this is? If you bought a put here and you got stopped out of your put here at 9:37 in 7 minutes, your contracts went from $644 all the way up here to $1,200. That's over $600 profit in one trade on one contract. So now if you're 40 Fridays in and you made $600, look where your profitability is at. You're making more than some people work all year long on one trade per week. But more importantly, you get to pay for your subscription while you're learning other ways to extract money. And then in the end, the most successful person is the one that's diverse. So now when you come in here and you day trade stock options for a job like I do, then you swing trade stock options and invest like I do, over the long haul, you got day trading income, you got swing trading income, you got Amazon Friday income, and then you're nailing crypto with Jamar. How can anybody lose? And that's why people that say, what's the power with DCG? We're all masterminds. Man, if you just come in and focus on one thing, get profitable while you're learning something else, our report trades, right? On the swing trade side, me and Mike put in the last 5 months. Look at this. The last 5 months, we lost one trade. 8 times 5 is 40 trades. So we are 39 divided by 40. Look at our win rate, 97.5%. We called that a month ahead of time. You guys see how powerful that is? So use the swing trades in the report to grow your account while you come in here and demo trade on the day trading side until you perfect your craft, until you're ready to go live. Then you're adding all these streams together, right? Does that make sense? A diverse trader is always going to win. Always going to win, right? So, but that's just the method behind my madness. That is how I feel on the day trading side and swing trading side. That's how I utilize all the tools, aka the coloring books that you see right here. We trade probabilities, and in the end, the probabilities result to profitability. So if there's anything that you get from this trade, please stay diverse and please use proper risk management. With that being said, that is everything that I have today. As far as how we use, does anybody have any questions? Now's your time to come on and ask questions. Throw it in the chat box if you don't want to come on. If anybody's interested in the tools and stuff that we have, just reach out and I'll share with you the routes that you can go. But other than that, does anybody have questions about the specifics of what we do daily? Great advice. He says, whoa, good stuff. Nah, that's just what we do, man. We're masterminds. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, trading is so easy if you let the tools tell you what to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. That's why we win. We're winners. You surround yourself with the winner, you'll be forced to win. You take the trades with us, you're going to be forced to win. There's nothing you can do. The only way that you will not win is if what? You don't use proper risk management. You follow me? Because we do lose trades, and if you go all in on that one losing trade, you're upset, but then the rest of us have more money to trade with, and we're winning. That's the key to trading right there. That is the secret sauce, right? One last little thing I'll share with you, which I normally don't do this. If you come here, right? If you come here, a lot of people ask me like how I buy shares. So I'll just give you a little sample. If you're a private student, you get a little more in depth, but I'll just give you a little sample. So let's talk about MSFT, Microsoft. I have this. You see over here where Beast Mode Retirement Watch List. All these stocks are stocks that I accumulate, right? So how do I accumulate them? So Remember, I believe in diversification. Let's check Microsoft out. So what I just taught you on the swing trading side, you're going to have to erase your mind, because this is how my hedge funds buddies share with me how they kind of trade, but they don't have the tools that we use. So this is how I use the tools that we have and trade probability. Anytime a candle is below the alligator in a bearish atmosphere, or it's in bearish sentiment, and we get our first green box, I'll buy shares, right? Not stock options, I'll buy shares. Why? Because shares, they don't lose value over time, and I only do this on companies that pay dividends. So right here, price falls underneath the alligator, we would buy right here. That's one entry on shares, right? We come back up, we're underneath the alligator. We close back above, that's not an entry. I need a candle to be below all the alligator, and we get our first breakout. Then we get another stab of nope, no shares there. We get another stab of share, nope, no shares there. We get another stab of shares, nope, no shares there. So it's very difficult to get shares. That's why I accumulate them. Right here is another area to buy shares. Why? Because price is underneath the alligator, and we have our first breakout. Look here. We take our shares here. Price comes up. Then we get underneath this right now. Guess who added shares? Nope. We wouldn't have got them right there. Yeah, we would have. But I didn't take any there, right? So if you take the average of your two lines, your average share price is about $2.26 a share. What's the share price on Microsoft right now? Right? So hear me out. If you started accumulating these shares with me back here, and prices got over here, we bought more shares. My average share price right now is about $2.26 a share. Microsoft hit a high of $3.05. So we'll just use the current price right now. If my average share price is $2.26, what is $2.95 minus $2.26? That's how much I'm up for every single share that I own, right? So now you take $69 per share divided by your cost average of the shares at $2.26. I'm sitting at 30% ROI on my shares. On Microsoft. Now, keep in mind, if I would have sold out at the very, very high, 305 minus 226, right, is 79. 79 divided by 226, I was up almost 35% at one point, right? I'm still holding my Microsoft shares because I think they're going to keep pushing up to 350 or 400, maybe 500, and then they're going to split and bring price back down to like 100 or 200, and then all my shares are going to quadruple, or maybe 3 times, 4 times, or 5 times, right? But the power with the accumulation of the shares is this. I collected 1 dividend, 2 dividend, 3 dividend, 4 dividend. I'm going to collect a 5th dividend. I'm collecting dividends while I'm holding these shares, and I'm only buying these shares at a discount. That's a little bit of free game for you right there. We won't go too much more in depth about it. And this is the last little thing. TOS now trades Bitcoin futures. So how do you accumulate Bitcoin with a high probability? Same freaking thing. Look at this. You zoom in here. Bitcoin falls. Your first average cost on the shares, you buy your shares here. Price falls against you, you buy more shares here. Right? Your average on the share price is 35,000. Look where Bitcoin's price is right now. From an ROI standpoint, 55,000 minus 35,000, 20,000 divided by your average of 35,000. Look at your ROI on Bitcoin. Super safe. You're up 57% on your investment. You follow me? That's how I accumulate. You guys hear me say I'm going into Ethereum and Bitcoin and all that. That's why I go into that stuff. All right. Look at the Ethereum/ETH. We can accumulate crypto. Look here. Our first cost average was right here at $2,000, right? And we don't really get anything more. You could have bought some shares right here. Actually, our first stab, nope, that was up. So our first stab of shares would be right here at $2,000 a share. And we'd never come back down underneath again, except right here. So you'd be your average would be 2,500, and it's at 3,600 right now. And, all right, so take 3,600 minus 2,500 equals 1,100 divided by my cost average of 2,500, I'm up 44% on Ethereum just holding it for the long haul. So we can accumulate crypto with a high probability over the long haul. But with that being said, I well overtook your time. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. But that's the method to my madness over here at Beast Mode. This is how we trade with high probabilities. We accumulate, we day trade, we swing trade, and we got them hacks. So in the end, please remember to use proper risk management. Follow your trading plan. If you have any questions, never hesitate to reach out. And you can find me on Facebook, on Discord. I tell people I can't even hide if I wanted to. You guys all know where to find me. So I thank you for your time. Real quick, does anybody have any questions? You can either come on the mic or you can throw it in the chat box. Thank you, Brandon. I'll reach out. Eric says money signs. Yep. So like I said, come in next Friday and we'll do the same thing together as a team. So, hey, a team that wins together will stay together. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. You guys have a blessed Friday. Don't have too much fun. Remember, the markets are closed Monday. We'll be back Tuesday, and we're going to do the same exact thing we did this week, next week again. Trading made easy. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you for your time. Beast Mode out.